I wrote Weirdos to say that there is no normal anymore. Talk to someone and start the conversation.
There is nothing more important to me than family. They're always teaching me, always sharing their wisdom. My father spent 2 decades in law enforcement and taught me the importance of trust and treating your community like family. That's why our heroes and our first responders hold a special place in my heart. They're part of what I call my extended family here in Tampa Bay, made up of the different groups that I'm involved with. These groups are doing such important work in our community, and I love telling their stories on Spectrum Bay News 9.
Introducing the new Spectrum News app. At home or on the go, all easily accessible. Download the all-new Spectrum News app, your community connection.
All right, bottom of the hour, here we are on this Tuesday evening. Lots of rain out there today. Our high temperatures were well below average because of it. Yes, we're still going to be in this pattern through tonight and tomorrow. So although there might be somewhat of a lull in the coverage of activity tonight, there still are showers coming in off the Gulf, and I expect another big push of moisture coming in from the Gulf tomorrow with numerous showers and storms. Therefore, if you're headed to the beach, I'll give you the same advice I gave you today. Expect a lot of rain first half of the day, and then it likely will start to break up and decrease in coverage tomorrow afternoon. We will get out of this pattern by this weekend. I'll talk all about it coming up with Weather on the Knots.
Welcome back. I'm Georgia Roman in for Holly Gregory. Here's a look at the top stories this hour on Spectrum Bay News 9. Another day of frustration for Spirit Airlines passengers. The carrier is blaming operational challenges for significant disruptions to service at several airports. A Tampa International Airport spokesperson says every Spirit flight in and out of Tampa was canceled yesterday, and most were canceled today as well. The CDC issued a new order that temporarily halts evictions. It applies to counties experiencing substantial and high levels of community transmission of COVID-19. If a county no longer falls under that category for 14 consecutive days, then the order will no longer apply there. This is in effect through October 3rd. Here's a look at today's state coronavirus numbers. More than 17,000 new cases were reported, as well as more than 11,000 active hospitalizations, a new record. Sadly, CDC data also shows 36 new deaths. Another company taking harsher measures against the Delta variant, Tyson Foods, is requiring COVID-19 vaccines for all U.S. employees. Employees at U.S. offices will need to be vaccinated by October 1st. Frontline employees will have a November 1st deadline. Once fully vaccinated, employees will get a $200 bonus. Tyson says nearly half of its 120,000 workers have already been vaccinated. Last year, the company's Waterloo, Iowa plant was forced to temporarily shut down because of a COVID-19 outbreak. About 200 cases were linked to the facility. At least one employee died. Life is returning closer to normal in some situations amid the pandemic. Today, San Juan, Puerto Rico welcomed the first new cruise ship since the pandemic began. We were there live this weekend as the Carnival Mardi Gras set sail from Port Canaveral. There are strict protocols in place. A minimum of 95% of travelers and crew must be vaccinated to be allowed entry. New tonight, 17 people are now behind bars for allegedly preying on children online. They were caught during a joint operation led by the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Authorities say during the campaign called Operation Child Protector, suspects talked with detectives online who they thought were children between the ages of 13 and 14. They would eventually try and meet up with the presumed children, and they were arrested.
Don't think that this was their first time, and don't think that they haven't found some child in the past to attack. And our goal is to send them to prison for a long time.
The suspects were all from the Central Florida area, except one who was here visiting from California. They face a total of 49 felony and 2 misdemeanor charges. In light of those arrests today, Spectrum Bay News 9's Ashanti Ford spoke with a local group that's urging parents to be more attentive to their child's social media activity.
Operation Child Protection is ongoing with the Polk County Sheriff's Department, focusing on putting online predators behind bars. Just today, 17 people were locked up. These are the faces of sexual predators that preyed on what they thought were 13-year-old boys and girls online. Sheriff Grady Judd said these type of people like to hang out in game rooms and other social sites where you're likely to find kids.
That's the downside of social media. It's made the predators easier to get to the children.
A scary fact that Tim Williams of the Protect Your Children Project wants parents to understand.
14 million children in America between the ages of 10 and 17 that have full access to the open door of pornography or have access to some sort of child predator chat rooms.
And even though the Polk County Sheriff's Office has put dozens of these predators behind bars, the fact remains they're out there and they are targeting social media apps.
Like TikTok is a really big one for kids, and Snapchat. These are both really big for kids. The problem with it is Pornhub and other websites are gravitating to these websites.
The Protect Your Children Project aims to educate parents on how to safely and privately install security blocks on your child's phone. And our sheriff backs this 100% with a new public service announcement.
Be all up in your children's business when it comes to internet usage. Their safety depends on it.
Williams and his team are working to expand the Protect Your Children project statewide. In Polk County, Ashanti Ford, Spectrum Bay News 9.
Red tide blooms are still impacting Bay Area beaches, but they're not keeping everyone out of the water. We talked with a local doctor to see how fish kills could impact your health if you dive in. Spectrum Bay News 9's Melissa Eichmann explains.
The Aquino family was hoping to jump in Bay Area beaches while visiting from Seattle. Dead fish, not how they expected to be welcomed to the water.
It's kind of shocking for the kids.
This family won't be jumping in after all.
We can't want to experience the Gulf of Mexico.
Others don't have a problem diving in. Dr. John Sinnott with USF Health and TGH suggests checking the water before going for a swim.
If there's dead fish, it's red tide, and it's a high concentration, and you don't want to be swimming in that.
The daily Florida Fish and Wildlife Red Tide map shows those high concentration areas still linger in parts of Pinellas and Manatee counties. Dr. Sinnott says people can have different reactions to the toxins.
Most people, but not everybody, most, will get very irritated eyes, they'll begin coughing, they'll have a runny nose, and if they have asthma or chronic lung disease, it will really act up. You can get a sore throat from the toxin, and you can also get quite a rash.
While some take that chance and that swim, it's not a way this family wants to spend vacation.
Well, we're making the best of it.
In Pinellas County, Melissa Eichmann, Spectrum, Bay News 9.
The doctor says antihistamines can help with allergic reactions. The Florida Department of Health says if you experience irritation, get out of the water and rinse thoroughly with fresh water. Our partners at the Tampa Bay Times report the Florida Poison Information Center in Tampa has received almost 30 calls about red tide-related illnesses this year, and the director believes that to be an undercount, saying not everyone calls when they're exposed. Team building with a purpose was the theme of Brooksville Elementary's Teacher Workday. Dozens of educators participated in a scavenger hunt for school supplies and donated desks they built to local families. They told Spectrum Bay News 9 reporter Fadia Patterson the exercises are helping to rebuild connections.
At Brooksville Elementary, this team building project was a year and a half in the making.
Mr. Lastra nailed it this year for team building. It's team building with a purpose.
Miss Lori Martin is one of the dozens of teachers who participated in a scavenger hunt for school supplies and building these IKEA desks with little to no instructions.
And we're hoping it stays together.
These educators made sure they arrived in one piece. 7 desks were donated to needy families.
We want to get back to building those relationships. Some of our kids haven't been in school for a full calendar year.
Like the Coveys, who were homeschooled for all of the 2020 and 21 school year.
And this school has come a long way because I have 12 kids.
What's up, Coveys? How you guys doing?
Mom Haley Covey says the support from Brooksville staff and teachers made the difference.
as far as helping and just inclusiveness. I really do. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a long, just craptastic year. There's no other way I could put it.
The 21-22 school year, they all hope will turn things around for the better.
So the main concern is getting those kids acclimated to school life, getting them back to the new normal, so to speak. Our main goal is really just connecting with our families.
An effort Principal Michael Astra says the Brooksville community is always willing to commit to. In Hernando County, Fire Patterson, Spectrum, Bay News 9.
The IKEA desks worth $400 each were donated by the Hernando Education Foundation.
Another wave of showers and storms coming through the area out there tonight. If you're wondering, gosh, when is this pattern going to break? It's going to be this weekend, but here's the reason and the setup as to why we're seeing the rains that we are seeing. Front just to our north, and yeah, it's an unseasonably strong cold front, and that pushed way into the deep south. I mean, this is more like a September cold front. Really rare to see them come this far south, and when they do, they tend to kind of make the moisture converge right over Florida. It kind of coalesces right on top of us. So that is what's been happening out there right now. Another wave of showers. So see, this is a perfect example of what I was referring to last night. It doesn't mean that it rains nonstop for 24 hours, but you get multiple waves of showers and storms over that 24 hours. So it might not be raining in southeastern Polk County, but it will be within an hour. And it's not raining on the backside of this wave of rain or band of rain, but yet it rains heavily when it passes by. So there is the latest one, poured in downtown St. Pete. And out there right now, you can see some of those heavy bands actually pushing through on our WeatherTight Windows Skycam overlooking Tampa right now. 80 degrees. The temperatures have cooled down because of all the rain. A lot of us are in the 70s. We're only going to cool down a few more degrees for our overnight lows. There's still that southwesterly wind flow, so it's just kind of pulling in that moisture right in off the Gulf. This is not a surprise. This was all predicted, expected, and it will continue right on through tomorrow. So localized flooding will be possible in some spots because of it, and it will help to keep our temperatures from getting too hot. So that is one big positive, only staying in the mid-80s. We talked about how the heaviest of rains would tend to kind of hover right over our state, but also right up through eastern parts of North Carolina. You can make out, sure enough, it's on the southern side where that front is. I mean, it correlates perfectly. That eventually will break down and go away. We'll get back to a more typical summer pattern. I'll talk about that coming up at 9:49.